In this video, we're going to be creating a recent news block. We're going to be creating a block of the top 5 most recent articles, and then we're going to be contextually filtering out the current article that we're viewing. This is going to be very similar to what we did earlier in this series. So let's create the recent news block that will allow us to navigate from article to article within each one of the article pages. That way, when we're done reading one, we can easily navigate to the next without having to go back to the home page. Now, in order to do this, we're going to modify the view that we already have created. And by doing this, we're going to really see the power of views, because what we're going to do is we're going to add a block to this particular view. And now we can see that within this one view, we've created a page, we've created an attachment, a feed, and now a block. And we could create a lot more, and we're actually going to be creating more within this view. It's really showing off the power of how you can create a single container view and then use that view to create a bunch of subviews with different displays. And that's really one of the big powerful things about views. And it's also another reason why you want to logically name your views when you're creating them, because if we just named this, say, news page, then it wouldn't make sense that there was a feed and a block in there. But by saying that it's a news feed, it's a feed of all of the news articles, we can put all of these different things in here and it makes a lot of sense. So what we're going to do is we are going to rearrange the fields here. We're going to make sure that this is this block override, and we are going to remove everything except the titles. And so now we can see we have just the titles here, but we're getting this pager and we don't want that either. So let's come in here to use pager. Again, make sure we do this block override, and we're going to display a specified number of items. And what we're going to do is display 5 items, and we're going to apply that. And we do have to come back in here because I just realized that we're offsetting by 1 and we don't want to do that. So let's set that back to 0. So now we're getting the top 5 articles. They're the only 5 that we currently have on the site. We're going to rename the title here. So this block override from news feed, and we'll just call it recent news. Now again, what we want to do is configure this so that we do not end up showing the news article that we're currently on, because that link is really not that useful for us. And we want this to have a little bit of a dynamic feel to it. So we're going to go to Advanced and we're going to add a contextual filter here. And we are going to search for the ID. And we are going to look for the content ID here. And then we're going to apply that to the display. And then we are going to provide a default value, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the content ID from the URL. And then when we scroll down here into the More section, we're just going to click Exclude, and we're going to apply that to the display. And we've made a big mistake here because we've applied this to all of the displays, and that's not what we want. So let's just bounce through our displays here, and on each of these we're going to go into this block override and remove them. Alright, so now we have them all cleaned up here, and our view isn't going to show us anything because we're working with a contextual filter. So let's go ahead and save that. We're going to come over to Manage, we're going to go to Structure, Block Layout. We're going to scroll down here to our sidebar second, and we're going to place a block there. And what block are we going to place? Well, we're going to place our news feed block. And we're going to restrict this specifically to the article content type. And then we're going to scroll down and we're going to save all of our blocks. Now if we go back to our website and we visit any one of the articles, we're going to get a recent news sidebar here. And we can see that In the Sky isn't in this list. And if we click New York, New York, In the Sky is going to come back, but New York, New York is going to be gone. So now we have a dynamic recent news menu that's going to show us the 5 most recent news articles and kind of have some dynamic features of not inserting links that we don't necessarily need. In the next video, we're going to be adding a contact form.